Did you know for the average recreational player, 8 out of 10 times the errors at the net when it comes to dinking are unforced, meaning you're hitting them into the net or making pop-ups. I'm going to show you exactly what we need to do to help you with this so that you're not making these unforced errors. In fact, on average, 60% of the time you hit into the net on average, which means you're losing the point 100% of the time, every time you hit it into the net. Now pros, they hit into the net around about on average 10%. I'm going to show you what the pros do so that you can learn this, so that you're going to decrease these errors, so that you're not making the mistakes and your opposition will make the mistakes instead, so you're going to win these free points. Stay with me. Let's just break this down for a second. I said to you, 8 out of 10 shots are errors that we are making when it comes to dinking. Okay, so let's have a look at the things that we need to do first and foremost when it comes to dinking. So the first thing we need to do, and I've got videos on this very quickly, is your technique. Now technique's obviously really important. The very basics, okay, loose grip. Think of having a bird in your hand. You don't want it to fly away, you don't want to kill it. So 4 out of 10, a soft grip, because this is a finesse shot, okay? So we're going to hit it at no big backswing, we don't need it. This is a finesse stroke. So we're going to follow through like this, hinging at the shoulder. Again, you probably know this, so I'm just doing this very quickly. I've got videos on this. No big backswing like this. It's just like cornhole, just like this. Follow through, don't jab at it, just follow through. Nice. Hinging at the shoulder, no movement at the wrist or the elbow. It is just this, okay? At its most basic level, just hinge at the shoulder, loose grip, and follow through. That's number one. The second thing is hitting it out in front of you. Now the pros always are hitting that, virtually always, hitting them out in front of them. And I'm going to show you how they do this in a second. Think of a cone in front of you, okay? A V shape. And just think the next time, because one of the major problems when it comes to hitting these pop-ups or hitting them to the net is by hitting them behind you. And then you're going to pop them up or you hit them into the net because you're off balance, you're hitting them behind you, reaching out like this. So you want to be hitting them out in front of you. Think of a V like this. This is going to help you enormously. So your technique, you already know that. And now what you want to do is hit them out in front. Okay, so think of this V, hit them out in front of you, and you're going to get much better consistency, right? Not hitting them back behind you. There's the V out here, so anywhere in this V. Now, the problem is we get lazy on our footwork. So we just try and lunge like this, or out like this, and this sort of thing. So what I want you to do is really work on your footwork. So whether that means little steps to get it out in front of you. So if you remember hitting them out in front of you, what big problems are people lunging. They get lazy, there's one there, and try and do this. And then they start getting the wrist into it because they're trying to flick it back, and this creates enormous mistakes. So, footwork, so little steps, okay? I want you to get more agile, not just taking a big lunge, because a couple of things, big lunge, that's going to make it harder for you to push back and it's going to make you slower. So I want you, as in the ready position, to hit it out in front of you, you need to have good footwork. So footwork first, paddle second. So to get there, now we can do it. Okay, this is really important, as opposed to what? As opposed to doing this, and you can see I'm off balance, I'm pushing, and then I'm going to push back in here. So make sure, footwork first, paddle second. Okay, so you've got your technique. You know to hit them out in front. The way to hit them out in front is by using good footwork. The other thing that is vital is watching the ball right the way to your paddle. Now, this is so important because you can have all of that correct, footwork, hitting it out in front, technique right, but if you don't hit it in the center, because remember you've got the sweet spot, and that's going to pop off the center point there of your paddle at a certain distance, right? You start hitting it outside of the sweet spot, it's not going to go as far. Right? You hit in the sweet spot, it goes a certain distance. You hit it out of the sweet spot, and then it's not going to go as far. In other words, you're going to hit them into the net. So that's really important. So I want you to focus, and I've got a video on this as well. The next time you go out, just focus on all of your strokes, just watching the ball right the way to your paddle, okay? Whether that's dinks, whether that's drops, and it's going to make, and I guarantee you, it will make an enormous difference to your game. Just hitting them in the sweet spot in themselves. Right, so you've got your technique, you've got your footwork, you know to hit them out in front, and you're going to watch them right the way, so you're hitting them in the center, which will give you a consistent, it'll come off the paddle consistently at their height and length. And that's going to give you consistency across the board. Okay, now the other thing is strategy. Where are you going to hit your dinks? So now, you probably already know this, but I'm going to remind you. The outside of the nets are 36 inches high, 2 inches higher than the middle of the net. The middle of the net is 34 inches high. So you've got a 2-inch lower net in the middle area. So where are you going to hit it? Right in the middle area, right? Because once again, so many players are making the mistake of trying to do something fancy, trying to get there. Hit them back. Remember, play not to lose rather than trying to play to win, because that's where players make the mistake. Just get it back in. Remember, 8 out of 10 are errors of the actual person, the player, making the mistakes. Don't be that player, okay? So you hit them into the center area by doing all of the things we just talked about. Hitting them in that lower area gives you more margin for error. Now, don't try to skim the net. You might think, oh yeah, the pros, will they do that? Yeah, the pros are not skimming the net each and every time. They're going to give themselves, yes, they practice, but they're not skimming the net every time. So I want you to think, get a foot above the net, okay? Because again, now you may be thinking, no, you're going to think, okay, pop-ups. But what about a pop-up? You know, if I hit them too high. Now I've got a video, my very first video I taught on this, because the pop-up, now it's only because if you hit them too high and too long. But if you hit them high, it doesn't matter if they're short, because they're not going to be able to get them. So high and short is not a problem at all. Then you're taking the net out. High and long, that's where the pop-up comes. But just think, if you hit them high and they're short, then they're going to drop in. Remember, we've got 7 or so feet here. So if you're hitting them high, it doesn't matter if they're dropping short. They're not going to be able to hit them away. Look at the person, they're way back here. Give yourself margin for error. Stop trying to hit them a couple of inches above here, because when you miss-hit them, not hitting them in the center, or just hit them poor technique, you're going into the net. I want you to aim from now on up here. And as I say, as long as you're hitting them and hitting them short into the kitchen, you are then going to be absolutely fine. Remember, the pop-up is high and long. You give them high, gives you the margin for error, and give them the high and short, you're going to be absolutely fine. So remember, risk versus reward. Hit them high, hit them into the center area of the net there, where it's lower, and hit them higher. Don't try and skim the net, okay? So there's your strategy. Get them back in, hit them higher above the net, hit them higher and shorter. Don't try and skim them. Every single one you hit into the net is 100% lost. So let's just go back through that. So next time you go out there, when you're dinking, remember, hinge at the shoulder, no bending at the wrist, no flicking of the wrist or the elbow. Hinge at the shoulder, no big backswing, follow through. Okay? This is the most basic level. And while I'm at it, unless you can do 30 or 40 dinks, no problems at all. I wouldn't worry about, I've got these about using slice. Just try the neutral dink right now, because again, remember the statistics. 8 out of 10 are errors into the net or pop-ups. Just get this as you start off with, okay? No need to start doing slices just yet. Just doing these, because again, no one's hitting, or very few people are ever hitting a dink as a winner. You know that if you think about, oh, because they had this fantastic dink slice or tops. No, it's just you made the errors, and it wasn't because their dink was incredible. No, dink is building to set up for a pop-up or waiting for the person's mistake. So don't be the person that makes a mistake. So remember what you're going to do with your technique. Hit it out in front, hinge at the shoulder, don't have a vice grip. These are your most basic things. Watch the ball right to the paddle, hit it out in front in that V. Use your feet so that you can hit them out in front of you, okay? And then also at the lowest point of the net and give yourself plenty of clearance. This in itself is going to give you a massive advantage because you will suddenly not be the person making those errors. If you just started to cut those errors down by not hitting them into the net by 50%, you are going to win tons more games, tons more matches, tons more points. Start doing it today. Remember, technique, soft grip, all of the things I've just taught you now, start applying those right now, and you're going to see a massive difference they're going to be making the mistakes, not you.